So, hello to everyone. My name is Markus Nuotto. I'm originally from Helsinki, Finland, but now I'm working at Google Play Games as a partner development manager at the Google headquarters. And today I'd like to talk about best practices on Google Play Games. So, if you're interested in mobile games or you are a mobile game developer, I'm going to go through some common hints and tips and also some common mistakes and that a lot of developers are doing, and hopefully give you some insight on how to avoid those. I'm not going to talk for the full 45 minutes. Let's see if we can get this done in about 20-25 minutes, and then I'll be hanging around here, and I'm happy to talk in more detail with you if you have any questions. We'll have a short Q&A session right after this if anybody has questions, but afterwards I'm happy to spend some time with you personally as well. We also have some other Play Games BD people here around, so feel free to stop by later on today to the stand, and hopefully you'll be able to present your game or what you're working on right now. So this is a big topic. We have over 1 billion active Android devices now out there on the market. And studies show that most of Android users are actually playing games. And in fact, during the past 12 months, we have paid over $7 billion to developers. So there's a huge market opportunity out there. But these days, it's not enough to just make a great product or great game. You have to think of your game as a service. So there are several things that you have to master in order to be successful. You have to know how to acquire users, how to manage your revenue targets, how to identify business hotspots. You have to know how to, or you have to understand what your players are looking for, and you have to expand your content constantly. You have to provide something new all the time to keep your players engaged. So obviously we don't have enough time to go through all of these things today, but as I mentioned, we have several of our team members here, so we can jump into more detailed topics with your specific game later on. And we have these secrets to app success at Google Play handbooks here distributed around. Feel free to take one with you if you're interested. There's quite a lot of nice guides and helpful tools there available. So for this presentation, I've gathered some tips around 3 general areas which are usually very problematic for game developers. And I have 5 tips on each area to give you some quick hints. So we'll go through core quality and design for games, game discovery, and finally some tips on featuring on Google Play. So starting with quality and design. First of all, if you haven't done so already, please go check out developer.android.com. It may seem a bit overwhelming at first, but we have a lot of material there. So I really encourage you to take some time and go through all the material there. We have a lot of things from app design, development work, all the way to distribution. You can find best practices, our quality guidelines, what we feel you should be doing, and also some tool sets and APIs for you to freely use. So I strongly encourage everyone to spend some time here. Then going for the first tip, stay up to date. It's always wise to follow the latest news, what's happening on Android and what's happening with the latest Android versions. Not only does it help you to understand what's happening there, but sometimes we are making a lot of updates that are actually helping your development work and making it easier. So you can sometimes avoid a lot of redundant work just by knowing what are the latest changes and things. Also, if possible, you should check out the latest devices and always make sure that your content runs well on the newest devices out there. The last thing, when publishing, please make sure you are also supporting the latest Target SDK. This is actually a hard requirement if you want to get promoted or featured on Play, so make sure that you are doing that. Then going to the most common mistake we're seeing, no back button support. Always make sure that you're supporting the back button. Remember that a lot of Android devices out there on the market still have physical hardware buttons, and this is a part of the Android user experience. So this helps to keep the UI very intuitive and easy to work around from the user's perspective. A lot of the users are expecting that it's there. And this is, again, another hard requirement for getting a featuring or promotion at Google Play. So you have to have that support there. And it's actually a very easy problem to solve. At developer.android.com, you can see we have guidelines and ready-made scripts for you to just implement, and it's done. The next tip is about Android tablets. You should really consider optimizing well on tablets. So Android tablet market size is actually quite large, and tablets offer a higher level of engagement and monetization in relation to phones. So tablet users are typically paying a lot more money for you. So this is a market segment that you should consider supporting really well. So make sure that the quality, feature set, UI are designed for tablets. Many times the phone layout doesn't really work well on a larger screen. And in fact, in general, we would like to see more support of both portrait and landscape orientations in general. And if you're interested in learning more, we have a tablet app quality checklist available for you at our websites. So please go and check it out. The next tip, size matters. On Google Play, it's a fact that smaller APKs get installed more and uninstalled less. And this is very logical and intuitive. Memory is very valuable on devices. And when users need to free up memory, they typically go for the larger files first. And also remember that in a lot of market areas, the web connections aren't very good. So having a smaller file size can really be a big advantage for you. So build your game smartly, as users are keenly aware of how much space is in their devices. This year, we have raised the over-the-air download limit to 100 megabytes, but you should still spend ample time in considering how to make your file size smaller. So don't link to libraries that you're using. Try to remove all extraneous code. And the final tip for this category, bad permissions. So when developing your game, be very sensitive about the permissions that you're asking for. A general rule of thumb is that don't ask for something you yourself wouldn't approve. And if your app isn't using the permission for anything, there's no reason to have it there in the first place. Also, note that the newest Android M version is giving users much more control over the permissions even after the game has been installed. So try to make sure that if they for some reason deny the permission afterwards, that doesn't freeze your game. The permissions are, again, an additional thing we are monitoring closely at Google Play. So if you want to be considered for featuring or highlighted in our promotions, this is something we go through as well. And having unnecessary permissions is a bad practice that we will then give you a quality warning of. Then going to game discovery, which is nowadays just as important as building a good quality game. First of all, it is good to understand how users are discovering content at Google Play. So there are two main ways that users do this. There's searching and browsing. And within search, they typically do navigational or categorical searches. So navigational is more like they know more closely what the words are or the name of the app is already. But a lot of players actually also search for battle games or farming games or whatever. For browsing, we have several different kinds of collections, charts, personalized collections, related games, featured app collections, and much more. So when creating content, try to focus on the categories where you think your game fits the best, and try to portray those categories in all of your marketing and messaging. Then going for the tips. So first of all, on Google Play, your product page listing is equivalent to a storefront window displaying your retail goods. So for users, it's the first contact with your game, and it can make a great first impression. Also, our product pages are constantly evolving. We're doing a lot of new stuff, and this May we launched as well developer pages. You can think of this as your very own brand profile for you to personalize. So you can design it however you wish, and you can promote your own game catalog really easily here. So I encourage everyone here already during their pre-launch phase to spend ample time thinking about their product page listings, everything from icons, screenshots, video trailers, and descriptions. These things actually make a huge impact on your install ratings. And going more specifically, the next tip is about icons. So we've done a lot of studies about this during this year, and out of the store listing items, icon is the single most important factor we're seeing. So spend a lot of time around that. Icons help users instantly identify your game on Google Play and on your device. So make sure that your icon stands out and signifies your game. You may also want to keep your icons fresh and change them seasonally to reflect special holidays. So if you can't spend much time on store listing items, at least work on your icon. This year we also launched free A/B testing tools on our developer console, and we've seen some great results with testing and changing icons with larger developers. Many large developers have seen double-digit percentage increases in their installs by just changing the icon. Then the next tip, your title. Try to keep the title very short. So first of all, you want to be very original when choosing a title, but be very thoughtful about your brand, and also it's a good idea to anticipate the future. What if you're making a sequel to your game? How would that fit to your original title? Also, remember that your markets these days are global, so it's a good idea to spend also some time considering what certain words mean in different languages and how they can be pronounced in different languages. So you want to avoid things that are too complicated. The next tip, a functional and vivid description. Users, when they're browsing content on Play, they typically don't spend a lot of time reading the game descriptions, so you want to be very short and concise. It's a good idea to use bullet points to highlight your product offering, and just answer the following questions. What type of game is it, and what is the gameplay like? And that's usually enough. Please also use the What's New area to communicate any new updates. And please avoid keyword spam. One example of this is to use your well-known competitor's name in your description. This is something that we are again monitoring, and it's a very bad business practice. And the final tip for this category, link to the product page with your Google Play badge. So I encourage everyone to promote your game by utilizing our official Google Play badge. Users are much more likely to trust you and go and download the content. Feel free to put this badge on your advertising, promotional material, or anywhere you're linking to your game. And it's pretty easy to do. We have all the ready assets and even ready-made badge generator in our developer.android.com, so it's really easy to do. Then finally, going to featuring on Google Play, some hints and tips on how to be more successful on getting your game featured. First of all, a common question we get is, what type of content are you looking for? And there's no easy answer for this. But we're looking for content that brings great entertainment value. This means that your content is interesting and it keeps users engaged. So we strongly believe that if you create great entertainment value, success will follow anyways. If you're looking for models for what good entertainment is, you should browse actively our store and look what kind of content generally is being featured and what we are including in different collections. So at least new and updated games and most popular collections should give you a very good idea. Tip number 2, we love data. So when you are presenting your game to the Google Play Games team, data always helps. So I encourage you to, or our team always encourages developers to do soft launches on smaller markets to really understand the user behaviors. So make sure that you're well aware of your retention rates and other key user metrics. Even if some of the data isn't perhaps the best in the market, it is still a very good idea to share it with us. This gives us more confidence that you're at least looking into the issue and you're knowledgeable about these things. And sometimes it may also help us to help you to kind of overcome these most problematic areas. So just as a general rule of thumb, the more data you can provide, the better off you are. And that gives us more confidence that you know what you're doing. The next tip, follow your ratings. So ratings can materially impact your installs and they can affect it a lot. So you should always work towards improving your ratings. Also, a 4.0 review average is a minimum to get a featuring at Google Play as well. So I strongly encourage everyone to get in a dialogue with your users and reply to user reviews. If you just fixed a common problem that's giving you 1-star ratings, let your users know about it. Follow the reviews and ratings and reply to people. You can often convert those 1-star ratings to 5 stars, which will improve your position. So be diligent about replying to both good and bad feedback, and let the users know that you care about their opinion and you're engaged with them. Tip number 4, speak your user's language. So Google Play provides a worldwide audience for your apps, and 2/3 of all installs are happening outside of the developer country. So to maximize your game's distribution potential and to earn high ratings internationally, please make sure that your game is localized very well. First of all, you should try to identify what are your key markets. What are the target countries and languages? Then you should really invest in having good quality translation and localization. This can make or break your game in some certain key areas. So having a bad translation or no translation at all can also actually prevent you from getting featured in specific areas. If your team needs translation services, feel free to utilize the translation services found in our dev console. Google provides some of these, but of course there are many good third-party solutions out there as well. And the last but certainly not the least tip, Google Play Game Services. If you're not familiar with it yet, please go check it out. You can find all the information again from developer.android.com. Spend some time looking what we're providing. So we're offering a lot of turnkey API solutions to grow your audience with achievements, leaderboards, multiplayer support, cloud save, analytics, and much, much more. And the best part of it all is that it's completely free. So you should really consider investing there. So this year we worked hands-on with several developers on this, and we've seen many successful stories with developers that have integrated, used the analytics, and tweaked their game to better meet their markets. So that's it for the main categories. I have a final bonus tip for you. So if you want to stay in touch, if you have a great product, a great project, awesome team, you have done your homework, you want to present your content to us, but you don't yet have a good connection to Google Play, please go to this link, update your information there, and we can then check your content remotely as well. So thank you for attending. Now we have a couple of minutes for Q&A here, so if there are any questions, I'm happy to answer. Please. There's a microphone here, so I think. Oh, it's done. Yeah.
Thanks, Markus. I just wanted to ask about when you load a new app to you. Now, for example, this Slash app we have, it will translate the English description to Finnish, which is almost unreadable. Can you comment on that?
Yeah, so I encourage not to use just the Google Translate. So within the developer console, we actually have like a paid translation service, which is much better than the just machine learning translation. So yeah, please try to avoid just the basic Google Translate and use a much better solution. There are very good third-party solutions out there as well. And it's usually not that expensive either.